Ruby and I are headed into town to pick up some parts for the plow truck, and I just saw this hanging on the fence as I drove by, and I think it's a little bit too late though. Yeah, he's stiff as a board. Looks like he got his foot. Too bad. He got his foot tangled on the barbed wire. That's all it is. Darn it. Well, yes, it gives the birds something to eat, but nature can be a little cruel sometimes. Let's go, Ruby.
Did you eat too much turkey or eggs?
I'm getting down to where I've only got a few things left before I can fire the truck up. I need to get the hydraulics around the clutch on the transmission figured out, and I also need to get the brakes bled, and a little bit of electrical, then I should be able to fire the truck up. Okay, the brake, the clutch, and the gas pedal are all reconnected to the drivetrain. Okay, I'm getting down to the wire here. I've literally got like the exhaust to install, then the radiator and the intercooler, and then I can lay the harness back across the engine, make the final connections with the wiring harness, and I could probably try and fire it up. One of the concerns that I had was switching over from the 12 valve to the 24 valve style hydraulic system for the NV4500 transmission. The master cylinder is different, but I was able to find a replacement brand new sealed system that I don't have to mess with. I don't have to bleed. I don't have to do any of that stuff. And it's done. It's installed. Gas pedals hooked up. The Hydro Boost is connected in the cab and mounted, but it is not plumbed up yet. And I have to go get one more hose, I think, for the power steering system. But I'm not going to jinx myself just yet, but it's going surprisingly well. I'm going to install the exhaust on it, get the radiator set in place, and just keep grinding and see if I can't get this thing fired up. I really truly enjoy doing work like this. I love taking a wrecked truck and making something usable out of it. The one aspect of it that I do not like is the pressure that comes from the snow on the ground outside. I would love to take my time and stretch this out and maybe do a few more things to the truck before I actually need to use it. But because of the snow, my back's against the wall, and I've got to get this truck done and the plow working before the snow gets any deeper. The first 2 years that we owned our land up here, while I was doing whatever work I could at that time around here, I actually used our old two-wheel drive tractor to keep the road open for the first couple of months. But when winter actually set in, which was late November that year, I didn't try to get back up here to do any work for nearly 3 months. During that time, the snow got deep. So until I get this plow truck completely roadworthy, I'm going to use the old Ford tractor and the scraper blade to keep the snow under control. With the four-wheel drive Ford tractor, I can definitely handle the snow, but the issue is it gets just a little bit cold sitting up on that tractor in the open air when plowing snow. It is officially time to get the radiator and the intercooler installed for the last time. I picked up an aluminum radiator a couple of months back because I knew that when I was pushing snow uphill, plowing snow on the way back up to our ranch, the old plow truck would get warm. And with this radiator, this truck shouldn't get warm at all. I hope this is the last time I install the charge tube and the boots for the intercooler on this truck. All right, so I'm waiting for a power steering hose to show up down at the parts house. And it's the power steering hose that's needed to make the Hydro Boost system work on this truck. And then really all I have left to do is to throw the fender up here, lay the harness across the engine and start making some connections. I'm going to remake the battery cables at some point during this process, but I kind of don't want to throw the fender on until I get that hose, but I also need to work on the brake controls, so I kind of got to do it. And I went through the truck and checked all the fluids, so really once I get that hose we can fire this thing, but I do need to get the fender on first. I pushed the truck out here in the sunlight because it's just nicer out here and I don't have to use the lights if I'm sitting out here. So even though it's a bright sunshiny day, we still only get about 3.5 hours of direct sunlight. So by about 2:30 in the afternoon, the sun has turned the corner and the solar panels are no longer doing anything. So I try to be a little bit conservative in the afternoons if I can think about it. I'm getting down to brass tacks with the truck, and there's really only a little bit left to do, but the little bit left to do is the detail stuff. And I want it done right, so I'm going to take my time and make sure it looks like it was done the way it should have been done. I don't necessarily care what the truck looks like on the outside, but I do care that the truck is going to start and hold up to the abuse that's going to come from plowing the road over and over again. All right, I have been watching the house and the solar panels and how they're interacting with the snow this year because I want to put more solar panels up here. But I had some concerns about the snow getting behind the panels and not melting off, and ultimately I would have to get up there and clean it off. So far underneath this new solar panel array that is on the first story, snow has gotten behind it, but it's melting off fairly fast. I think the solar panels naturally put off a little bit of radiant heat, and I think it melts the snow. So we haven't even really gotten into winter yet. We haven't even gotten into the bad storms yet. So I'm going to watch this really closely over the next few months and just kind of see. But the solution to our solar issue would be more solar panels. The one way I can avoid running that generator to charge the batteries would be to have more solar panels. So anyway, I'm going to continue to watch this throughout winter and just kind of see what happens. Best case scenario with a new incinerator now means less unburned fuel going up the chimney, less burn time, less ashes, hopefully more than anything. By using a blower, introducing air into there, it should burn much hotter and burn much faster. I'll come back in about an hour and just see how much is left as far as the ashes are concerned. There's a slight possibility I may cut a couple more louvers in for a little bit more air, but when I put that blower to it, it burns incredibly hot. The next question is, what's my alternative instead of using that Milwaukee blower? Is there something I could put stationary on the side of this thing that I could plug in for, a minute and a half or so once the fire gets going that would ultimately help everything burn much faster? So naturally, I don't have an issue with burning things, but I most certainly don't want to put any more unburnt fuel into the air than I have to. We live up close and personal with how we heat our home, and by having an incinerator that'll burn really, really hot, ultimately, that's less garbage going into the environment. This is a win. I probably have $30 tied up in that thing. I don't know that lightweight sheet metal that I welded to the outside and or that lid, I don't know that they're going to hold up as long as the barrel will. But that stuff I could easily replace if it started to fail. So I'm happy with it.
By the time our next video goes live, the plow truck will start and run, and hopefully the plow will be working as it should. I will then start the process of building the flatbed, putting the transfer tank on the back of the truck, and basically getting the truck ready to be the backup truck around here for anything and everything from firewood to plowing snow. But from our house to where the county stops plowing snow is about 3 miles. So in the meantime, I'm going to keep the road open with the old Ford tractor. This is one of my favorite scraper blades because it pivots and pivots very far to either side, but there is a center pin that I've had problems with for a couple of years. And in this moment I have one option but to weld it, but the truth is I need a new pin. So I welded it back together and hopefully it lasts during this snowstorm, but I'm going to have to do a permanent fix on this soon. In the meantime, we hope you are all doing very well. We hope you're having a happy holidays, and we will see you in a few days.